A routine is seductive because it promises control. There is this fantasy that if you stack enough habits, gym, meditation, cold showers, journaling, reading, breathwork, you'll somehow stabilize both your nervous system and your revenue. But startup life is unstable by nature. You're building something uncertain, managing unpredictable people, reacting to shifting markets. The idea that a hyper-optimized morning routine will compensate for structural chaos is comforting and very unrealistic. The problem isn't routine. The problem is perfectionism disguised as self-care. Welcome to Zero to Something, a place where we talk about founders' journeys, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. Founder wellness culture suggests that if you're exhausted, you're doing it wrong somehow. The real reason you're overwhelmed isn't runway or product market fit, or that you're doing 5 jobs at once. It's because you didn't wake up at 5 a.m. and journal properly. There is also this subtle moral superiority in optimization culture. The more elaborate your stack of habits, the more in control you appear. But control over a calendar doesn't equal control over outcomes. In early stage startup life, your schedule is reactive. Urgency appears without warning and energy fluctuates throughout. Some weeks are stable, others are chaos. Pretending you can maintain and influence a great routine through all of that is not strength, it's denial. You don't need a routine that looks impressive. You just need the one that helps you survive instability. So what actually happens when you don't prioritize? When structure collapses, most founders don't suddenly become lazy. Usually you overwork, and that happens to me too. When things get intense, I extend my hours and I convince myself it's necessary. And then when I finally stop my working day, instead of properly resting, I scroll. It feels like a break, but it's just numbing out. From there, all the basics start just slipping from me. Movement disappears, air disappears, human contact shrinks. The day becomes work and digital noise. It doesn't happen dramatically and suddenly all at once. It happens step by step. And the cost isn't just physical, it's also cognitive, because my focus drops, reactivity increases, small problems feel heavier. And that's why some type of routine matters, not for aesthetics, but for the baseline stability and for more productive work. That's where the concept of the minimum viable routine comes in. Forget stacking 10,000 habits. Build a minimum, not an ideal version of you, but a sustainable one instead. Think in categories instead of a whole routine checklist. Number 1, physical anchor. Your body cannot be optional. And it doesn't always mean a 90-minute gym session. It can be anything simple, right? 10, 15 minutes of mobility or yoga, a walk around the block, posture resets every hour, or a little eye exercises every 30 minutes when you're working at the computer. It's not about the crazy body transformations. It's more about circulation and feeling good in your body, which will improve your focus. For me, 15 minutes of yoga every day is the reset. And when I maintain it, my back doesn't hurt, my focus sharpens, and I feel less like a brain floating in Slack all the time. Second is a mental anchor. So your mind, it also needs pauses, and the ones that are not input driven. For example, 5 minutes without screens, breathing practice, short journal entry, writing down the 3 real priorities for the day, or just sitting in complete silence instead of doom scrolling your TikTok or Instagram. It's all about reducing reactivity. And when this anchor disappears, all the noise around you, it just feels urgent and personal. The third one is relational anchor. Startup life can really narrow your world to just product and metrics and revenue. But a relational anchor keeps identity wider than the company. That might be one intentional message to somebody you care about, or one real conversation, even if it's very short. Dinner without devices, or asking someone how they're doing without multitasking and looking through Slack messages. It's not about quantity. It's about maintaining perspective. Number 4 is a joy anchor, something with absolutely no strategic value. Music, reading fiction, 10 minutes cuddling your dog, a hobby, planning a future trip, visualizing a bigger version of yourself. If every action in your day has ROI attached to it, your nervous system never leaves performance mode. And that's not sustainable. You need a rest. And those big, crazy routines, they are beautiful. They're Instagrammable. But the reality is, when I maintain even the minimum movement air, one social touch point, I don't suddenly become more productive, but I do become more stable. And stability changes how I make decisions, and it becomes easier to handle rejection, which startup life you will have a lot of. It becomes easier to negotiate, easier to zoom out and see the bigger picture. The company needs you stabilized and focused, and it needs you functioning. And the one way to go about it is to create those minimal touch points for yourself. You don't need a truly cinematic founder routine unless that's your business. But you do need at least 4 anchors that exist on chaotic days, no matter what. Early stage startups are incredibly volatile, and your habits should bend and be flexible. Build a routine that survives bad weeks, launch stress, and crazy fires, and traveling. For example, I always travel because I can work online, and sometimes it becomes unexpected. Like you come to a country and you're stuck there for a month instead of a week. And your habits should be able to adapt to your life and to your startup. Simple but sustainable routines will be the ones to support you. And as always, I leave you with 2 questions to reflect on. Number 1, if I stripped my routine down to 4 anchors that protect my health and sanity, what would they be? Number 2, which habits am I chasing because they look impressive, not because they're sustainable in my current phase? Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. If I stripped my routine down to 4 anchors that protect my health and sanity, what would they be? Number 2, which habits am I chasing because they look impressive, not because they're sustainable in my current phase? Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.